Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Frisco Report. Mike is back in the lab with me. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? I'm telling you, it's only been a week. I missed one show, and it feels like I've been gone for a month. I missed you guys. I'm glad I'm back. Schedule got fixed. I'm ready to hop into the show. What do we have tonight?
All right, guys. Tonight, we're going to give the Cowboys 2020 schedule a look at. We're going to look at each game here individually and try to give you the potential win-loss of the season. All right. So, Mike, without further ado, let's kick this thing off as far as the schedule. It just came out here recently. It was last week. And, we've had some time to digest, the schedule, away games, the primetime games, where the bye week lands. So now we're gonna talk about it now, Mike. So let's get into it here with week 1. We're kicking it off not with the Giants, thank God. This time we are going to open it up on the road at the LA Rams. Sunday Night Football. What's your gut instinct here on this game, Mike?
Gut instinct. We should be able to whoop these guys' butts. And I say that because you look at all the acquisitions in free agency, and Cowboys lost a lot, but they gained a lot too. And the Rams, they lost a lot and gained a little because they were salary cap strapped. They did not keep a lot of their star players. They cut Gurley. What's their running back situation looking like? That Sean McVay offense fell off, Joe. It will be a great test for our defense, the Mike Nolan 4-3, 3-4 principal defense, and I'm looking forward to it. But Cowboys, it's in the West Coast. Cowboy fans, that's why Cowboys go to training camp over there, because all the love they get from Cowboy fans. We're America's team. I see no reason why we can't fill up their stadium, and I don't see a reason why we can't kick them in their butts.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that this game here on the road, it is Sunday Night Football to kick the season off. Obviously, we'll probably get the Thursday night game that kicks off the season. I think that's kind of what they've been doing, but still, the first legit Sunday Night Football game, the Cowboys, they can't go wrong. You're opening up the new stadium. It's over there in California. But yeah, I feel like we should be able to win this game. I feel like this is a potential win for us. The Rams, they're rebuilding. You and I have talked about whether or not the Cowboys were rebuilding or reloading. We're reloading. The Rams, on the other hand, are rebuilding. This team let go a lot of high-priced, players, and now they're having to rebuild their draft. Their draft was kind of, it was okay. Is the team kind of souring on the Sean McVay program? We see this all the time. The hot shot comes in here, does really good in year 1, and it kind of fades out. So we'll see what happens with the Rams. But for me, I give us a win here, a potential win. So 1-0 to start the season, Mike.
Yes, sir.
All right, week 2. All right, the Falcons are coming to Dallas at noon time. All right, so at high noon, we're playing the Falcons here, Mike. What's your take on this game here, week 2?
Week 2, at home. You're coming off that momentum, and the Falcons are tricky because you never know what the Falcons are going to give you year in, year out. They're almost like the Jason Garrett Dallas Cowboys. You never know what to expect out of them. And they had a semi-downfall year, but they got their best wide receiver in the league in Julio Jones. That's where Todd Gurley went. So they loaded up their offense. Their defense is young, and they're coming up too. I think this game right here, week 2, is the true test to see what the offense for the Dallas Cowboys, if they're going to look successful during this season, and the defense. Can they stop Matty Ice? How is our corners going to do against a guy like Julio Jones? Jeff Heath ain't back there no more. Can our free safety keep up with that double coverage with Julio Jones? How's Xavier Woods' production going to happen? The week 2 production right here, Joe, it's going to tell a lot. Like I said, you never know where the Atlanta Falcons stand, and the Dallas Cowboys, this is going to be a great test for them. I'm giving the edge to the Dallas Cowboys to open up their stadium with a W.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's a good take there, Mike. I also have the Cowboys, taking it to the Falcons here. For me, I'm not really sold on the Falcons either. I have them kind of on that same trajectory as the Eagles, and we'll get to that here a little bit later. But this is a program that's in danger. We're talking about the GM there, the coach Quinn. I think they're trying to go all in here. One last shot to see if they can, jumpstart the program. And they're throwing some players at the defense. They do have Julio Jones, Matty Ice, these guys. But running back Gurley, for me, I think it's too beat up. I think they took a step back there at running back. I liked Freeman and Telvin, but now they're both gone, and they're going to rely on Todd Gurley in that arthritic knee. All right, so we'll see how that guy holds up there, but they still are very dangerous, no doubt about that, on offense. Can they stop our offense? I don't think they'll be able to. They lost some secondary players, but they did draft a young cornerback there, obviously in the first round. But Mike McCarthy's going to want to make a statement here, have AT&T Stadium booming. We're going to come away with a win here as well, Mike. We're going to go 2-0 here after week 2.
I like it.
All right, so going on to week 3, Mike. We're on the road. This time we're going to Seattle. All right, this is a 3:25 afternoon game on the road. CenturyLink, baby, at Seattle. What's your take here on week 3, Mike?
Week 3, you look at the Seattle Seahawks defense. They were 26th in the National Football League overall. Their offense was ranked number 8. And it's at Seattle. You're playing against a 12th man. That's like playing the team and the referees and the fans all at one time. They get loud over there in Seattle. Yes, I talked about the West Coast and Cowboy fans. Take that. When you go to Washington State, they love their team. It's almost like Green Bay Packer fans, right? But they get louder. They're the 12th man for a reason. I'm giving the edge to the Cowboys in this game simply for the fact that I don't know if they really fixed their defense. We're coming in here holding that title of number 1 overall offense. We have a new offensive scheme. We got a guy like CeeDee Lamb, Zeke, a healthy offensive line. I don't see why the Dallas Cowboys can't go in the 12th man and go kick some butt. And the Dallas Cowboys are actually 1-2 in the last 3 meetings, but I think they can get to 500 in week 3.
To 500. Wait a minute.
2-2. So against they're 1-2 in the last 3 games. So they go in there, they beat them. It's 2-2. They get to 500 as the, you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about the series matchup.
Yeah, the series matchup.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. For me, Mike, I have these guys going up here and smashing them in the mouth. And you made a good point on the defense. Whether or not they bring back Clowney or not, I think that doesn't even matter for me. They've let go of some pretty good defensive linemen. And I think they're still trying to find their way there on defense. Offense, Russell Wilson's still the man there. And DK Metcalf is going to be a problem. Year 2, he'll be hard to cover. Will he go up against Trayvon Diggs? Breaking down Trayvon Diggs, he did a pretty good job actually when they played against each other. Mississippi with Ole Miss versus Alabama. So there is a familiarity there. Metcalf did have some wins, but he also got shut down a little bit as well. So that'll be a good matchup. We might be able to see if Trayvon Diggs is in the starting lineup by week 3 out the gate, or is he still trying to crack the starting lineup. So for me, I have us winning up there. I don't think the 12th man will be anywhere as potent as it will be, only because of the COVID and all this kind of thing. We're not going to have a full capacity stadium by any means. Even if it's 25%, we'll see what they do. I don't know if they'll try to cheat and pump in some extra sound or what, but a smaller crowd should help the Cowboys here. I mean, we've been competitive with Jason Garrett with the Seahawks. You mentioned we were 1-2. I think McCarthy has a better handle. Will have it better prepared. So after week 3, 3-0 for me, Mike. 3-0 so far.
3-0 for me too.
All right. Moving on to week 4. Cowboys are hosting the overrated Cleveland Browns. Mike, what's your take on week 4 hosting the Cleveland Browns?
Cleveland Browns have a lot of 20 seconds, Joe. Offense, defense, and in the passing game. They're all 22nd. I don't know how you fall in that category of having 20 seconds. In the last 3 series of the Cleveland Browns versus Dallas Cowboys are 3-0. Like you said, Joe, the overrated Cleveland Browns. All hype, no performance. All bark, no bite. And just because they got a new coach, they've been getting new coaches, and it's don't change. There's a curse in Cleveland, and it's staying in Cleveland. And the Dallas Cowboys will go 4-0 in the series against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, not much more else to say on that. I think it is the Cleveland Browns, and like you said, it's a revolving door of coaches, GMs, players. They have some of the names, but they've talked about even possibly trading Odell Beckham at some point to the Vikings. Maybe there's something behind the scenes there that they're not liking, but it never really came together for them. They have potential, and I'm not so sure that Stefanski is the answer there. But yeah, Cowboys are going to win this game. We're going to go 4-0 after week 4. All right, Mike?
Absolutely.
Week 5, we face the first NFC opponent of the year all the way to week 5. We're hosting the New York Giants, Mike. What's your take here? Week 5 versus the Giants.
Jason Garrett comes back to AT&T Stadium, first game. Listen, they have Saquon Barkley, who the Dallas Cowboys, they have his number. And, the Giants defense, yeah, they got one of my best players in Xavier McKinney. But guess what, Joe? You go get CeeDee Lamb. Who's Xavier McKinney? He won't be able. They don't have anybody to cover our offense. Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper. That defensive guy over there is going to be scratching his head, looking at his play sheet. He ain't going to know what to call. Jason Garrett, on the other hand, with this defense, they know how Jason Garrett runs. It's predictable offense. Take Lawrence should have 4 sacks in this football game. Yes, they beefed up their offensive line in the draft. They're rookies. We got nothing but vets and young talent that's faster, stronger, better to rotate in, keep that D-line fresh. Jason Garrett, I hate to tell you, but your homecoming is a home disaster.
Yeah, it's gonna be that, and I think the headline of the game is gonna be, will Jason Garrett know the calls? Will he be relaying the calls to the defense? I don't see that being the case. It's not like Kellen Moore's gonna be running the exact same calls. It's gonna be similar, but this is gonna be Mike McCarthy, with Kellen Moore's jargon or whatever. But on the other side of that, though, I do believe that the Cowboys will have an upper hand as far as the predictability of Jason Garrett's offenses. All right, they want to run the ball. They've drafted a bunch of offensive linemen. I do feel that they are going to get better there. But who's going to be catching the ball? I don't feel that they really have upgraded the wide receiver position there at the Giants. So they're going to try to open it up with the running game and then try to open up the passing game. I mean, it just sounds like a Jason Garrett offense, which it's going to be. And I just think that we're going to have too much for them ultimately. So I think this one, it'll be a classic NFC East game. It might be kind of close. I don't know. We'll see. But I see us coming away with another victory here, sending us to 5-0 for the season, Mike. 5-0.
I don't disagree. Oh, and Tony Romo's commentating that game too.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be real fun. See what Romo has to say about dissecting the game. That's going to be, I can't wait for that one there. And this is a 3-game home game stretch. We just beat the Browns. We're going to beat the Giants here. Week 6, we got another home game. We're hosting the Arizona Cardinals, Mike. what's your thoughts here on hosting the Arizona Cardinals? Week 6, Monday Night Football.
Arizona Cardinals, their defense last year was ranked 32nd. Dead last. Right there with the Dallas Cowboys special teams. You don't go from dead last to a top 10, top 15 defense. They're going to have problems. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. It's almost going to be like a New York Giant game. And, you know, they got Kyle Murray over there whose offense was 21st. You know, they did add a few pieces in DeAndre Hopkins and stuff. Again, our corners, they're going to be ready. You know, you go look at how you cover Julio Jones. You take that momentum, and how you cover the Seattle Seahawks wide receivers. You take that momentum and you use that against a DeAndre Hopkins. Their running game, subpar to me. You know, as long as you stop DeAndre Hopkins, you keep Kyler Murray in the box. I don't see how the Dallas Cowboys lose this game. Now, it could be a trap game. You know, a lot of momentum coming in. What are we? We're 6-0 going into this game, 5-0 going into this game. It could be a trap game too, but I don't see how we're losing Monday Night Football to the Arizona Cardinals, Joe.
Yeah. This will be interesting to see where the Cardinals are at by this time of the year. Week 6, they're either going to be, you know, improved over the previous season, or they're going to be a disaster. So, yeah, they got DeAndre Hopkins. We no longer have Byron Jones. We saw what DeAndre did to Byron Jones. He lit him up, and he lit up the secondary. So we'll see, you know. But one thing I will say is I think you're getting, you know, the comparisons are there. You're talking about CeeDee Lamb, kind of models his game after Hopkins. So I think it's going to be good work for the secondary players as far as like the style and how to cover this type of player, you know, this time around. So it'll be interesting to see how the Cowboys handle this. Will it be a shootout or will it be a blowout by the Cowboys? So this one, I think ultimately the Cowboys, they win this. It will be Monday Night Football. AT&T Stadium is going to be rocking, you know, no matter the size of the crowd. So we come away with this one too. So 6-0 for the season, Mike. 6-0. Week 7, we're on the road now. We're going to hit two road games here, back-to-back NFC games. So week 7, we're on the road. FedEx Field at the Washington Redskins. So what's your take on this game here, Mike?
You know why they try to go after Amari Cooper? Because they're 31st in total offense, 32nd in passing. I don't think they have a Amari Cooper, a Michael Gallup, or a CeeDee Lamb over there in Washington. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they went Chase Young, right? Their defense was what? What was their defense? 27th? Chase Young ain't going to make a 27th defense turn into a top 15 defense. Dak Prescott lost one game or two games in his career to Washington. It don't change this year. The Dallas Cowboys should be able to sweep both games. Getting ahead of myself, but they should be able to sweep both the games, take care of these Washington Redskins, wipe your hands, and go on to the next game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you too, Mike. It's the first meeting of the year with the Redskins. We're on the road, obviously, but I feel that they didn't really address the quarterback position. You know, whether or not they're going to go with Haskins or Kyle Allen, or does Cam Newton come into the fold? We'll see what happens there. But yeah, the offensive line, they took a step back. You know, they traded Trent Williams. He's no longer there. So the secondary, they were having problems with our offense before this happened. You know, they got rid of Norman, and they're kind of beat up back there as it is. So yeah, another win for me. Another win. 7-0 after week 7, Mike. 7-0.
Beautiful thing.
Week 8, we're on the road again to another NFC East opponent, the Philadelphia Eagles. Sunday Night Football in Philly, Mike. What's your gut feeling on this game here?
Bad taste in my mouth. Last time we faced these guys, we lost 17-9. Division was on the line. Dak Prescott's shoulder was hurt, Joe. This is the rematches of rematches, all right? You win this game, you got the lead in the NFC East, and there's no turning back when you take care of these dirty birds. And you beat one bird, you feast them well. You beat another bird, you feast them well. And you got to take care of this bird. This bird right here is very important this time of year. November 1, you got to start November off right. Sunday night, prime time, bad taste in your mouth. You go and you choke, and everything happened, but everything happened in a good way because you got Mike McCarthy. You got CeeDee Lamb. That's why we got to go in here, and we got to crumble these guys. It's a division game. This is probably going to be one of our closest division games. We've been in overtime with them the last 4 out of 6 games. It's been overtime games. Dallas Cowboys coming on top in most of those overtime games. We got to go in here. This is a statement game to set the tone for the rest of the season, Joe.
Which quarterback are we facing here? Your gut feeling? Will Wentz make it through 8 weeks, or are we going to see Jalen Hurts here? What's your gut feeling on the quarterback here?
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I think Carson Wentz. It's 8 weeks in. I think he'll hold up 8 weeks in. He usually gets hurt about the 1st of December, late November.
Yeah. We'll see. I really don't have faith that Wentz will make it through 8 weeks, but assuming he's there and we're on the road there at Philadelphia, I think we win it here. And what I mentioned earlier in the segment, like I did the Falcons, it's the program. Okay, we saw cracks in the foundation with the Eagles last season. They won it by default because the rest of the NFC East was just so bad. But that being said, I think you saw some players quit on Peterson, and I think the love affair is over. I think they had a bad draft. I thought it was kind of a wonky draft, taking Jalen Reagor in the first round, and Hurts in the second, and just the rest of their draft class was just not that good. So for me, I have another win here. We're gonna beat these guys up all night, Sunday Night Football. And it'll be a game that they won't ever forget. It's gonna be a complete butt whooping here. 8-0, Mike. 8-0 after 8 weeks for me.
Ooh, that Mike McCarthy hire looks beautiful.
Yeah, right now Cowboys fans are looking at this like, man, this we're humming along here. We're humming along. Now we start to get to the meat of the schedule. Week 9, the Cowboys host the arch nemesis, the Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. What's your thoughts on this game here, Mike?
Last time the Cowboys and Steelers played at AT&T Stadium, what happened, Joe? Overtime interception. Brandon Carr took it to the 1-2 yard line. Ended that game. That was a heck of a game. You fast forward to recent years. Last time they played, Ezekiel Elliott up the middle, 45-yard touchdown. After they did the Dan Marino fake spike, and our corners just got blown up and touchdown. You know the game. And this is a classic rival right here. This rival's been happening for a while. You're an old school Cowboy fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This right here, they got Juju Smith-Schuster over there. Ben Roethlisberger's coming back. This game, it could be close. It could be real close. You got Tony Romo in the house commentating this thing, lighting it up, doing what he does, and it's gonna be one heck of a game. I'm just gonna say that because the Steelers defense, yeah, they can play. They were 5th overall last year. They can play. They added some more pieces. They're getting better. This right here is really going to be, like you said, Joe, the meat of the season. This right here is going to be the true test. You had it easy the last 8 games. Put your money where your mouth is and end the season on a high, especially after you just beat the Eagles.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same, Mike. I feel like this will be ultimately, assuming Ben Roethlisberger is the quarterback, it'll be a close game. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. Now they give him another weapon there with Chase Claypool, the big physical wide receiver. So it's gonna be a battle there for the secondary for the Cowboys. It's gonna be all about getting pressure on Ben Roethlisberger. I feel that we got better there, especially up front. They're not gonna be able to run all over us, So I feel good about this game, and ultimately the Cowboys come away with a win here at home against the Steelers. So we go into the bye week, Mike, 9-0. Going into the bye week, what's your gut feeling here on the bye week? Do the Cowboys make any moves? Do they make any trades? What's your gut feeling on what might happen here during the bye week as we are 9-0?
What is the trade deadline? Do you know? I thought it was early November.
Yeah, it's usually in November.
Yeah, it's usually early November. This is kind of mid-November. I think the trade deadline might be over with, but they got full steam, right? They're 9-0. They got full steam. The bye week came at a perfect time. I love Week 10 bye weeks. It's in the middle of the season. You get refreshed. But this bye week right here, they got a 3-game stretch where it's going to be pretty tough. You know, what are the 3 games, 10 days? But this is a great, you got the momentum. You're going in there. You're probably sitting well in the NFC East at this point. You're almost there in double-digit wins. I don't know if there's any player transaction depending on injury. What happens there. Dak Prescott's contract looking like it's already paying off. Yeah, you got a reliable backup and Andy Dalton. Get this team healthy. We got 7 games to go. There's no reason to settle and we got to go out there and we got to go play because the playoff extension thing started this year, right? Or is that next year?
I believe that actually starts the following season in 2021.
Okay. You still want to go for that first overall seed in the NFC and go get you a bye week. And so you can get another bye week, Joe. But they got to come in this bye week, get healthy, get their minds right. Don't let that 9-0. Don't even look at the record. Don't touch social media. Be a pro's pro and get ready for the next 7 games.
Yeah. Yeah, well said. So Week 10 is the bye week. Falls right in the middle pretty much of the schedule, like you said. And the Cowboys, they tend to stay a little bit busy. They don't really stay quiet, whether it's a player acquisition or extending a player, that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see if something like that happens during the bye week. So after the bye week, we come out of the bye week on the road. Week 11 at Minnesota, 3:25 kickoff Central Time. What's your gut feeling here at Minnesota, Mike?
Hey, Kirk Cousins ready to go this year. He took a pay cut after that massive contract he got, all guaranteed money. He did take a pay cut. These guys were there. They just had a few whoops during the season. They fixed their offense. Their defense was 14 overall. Their passing game was really wasn't that great. But they got a running game. And you give Kirk Cousins a running game, Kirk Cousins can make something happen during play action. Right off this bye week, the Cowboys really had 2 weeks to prepare. There should be no reason why we can't go get us a win against the Minnesota Vikings. Last time they played, we lost 24-28. That game was all on coaching. Dak Prescott was lighting up their secondary. I don't see why Dak Prescott can't go do that again. And this time, it's a whole new regime, and we won't run it just because we're in a 2nd and 2 situation. We won't run it 3 times in a row.
A la Jason Garrett and his stupidity, right? So what I like about this game, you nailed it right on the head, Mike. You get 2 weeks to prepare for the Vikings, a team that Mike McCarthy knows intimately. He knows how to beat Zimmer. So, I think this will be a game that we're going to be able to take advantage of Mike McCarthy's experience facing off a team of this caliber. I feel the Vikings are a very good team, but I feel like they're kind of in that rebuilding mode as well. They shipped out Stephon Diggs. They did draft Justin Jefferson, but he is a rookie. They did a little bit of a rebuilding there in the secondary. They got rid of some players. They dumped a lot of players. Everson Griffin's still out there. But they do have really good linebackers. I think that's the strength of this defense. I don't think it's going to be enough to hold the Cowboys back winning this game. Cowboys, I have them winning this after the bye week, taking us to 10-0, Mike. What in the world is happening right now? Have we clinched a playoff spot by this time? Who knows? But man, 10-0 does sound good. And this is, by no means is this being homers or anything, right, Mike? I mean, we're actually looking at the schedule. The expectations are high for us. You and I have been talking about Mike McCarthy. We need a coach. We've talked about this even before. Garrett got the boot. That we need a coach. And I feel that the Cowboys finally have that here. 10-0, Mike. 10-0.
Absolutely. I don't disagree, man. Yeah, it sounds like we're homers, but you got to take it at face value. I'm giving you where they ranked last year. Joe's touching on how they improved, or if they improved at all. Yeah, these are realistic observations that we're giving you here.
Yeah, and the thing about it too, guys, you got to believe in the roster here. This is not. I think a lot of fans out there, and I see it, some of them in the comments. If I do a poll, I read some other people's comments on other channels or Twitters. Some fans are really shell shocked. Jason Garrett really did a number on a lot of fans. And you talk about brainwashed. Real shell shocked. You're afraid to really admit the potential of this team, but that's not what we're here. We're saying it how we feel that this is going to be under this new regime. So 10-0, Mike, and like you said, a short window here. We have 3 games here that are going to be tough. Week 12, Mike, we host the Redskins on Thanksgiving Day. What's your gut feeling on this game here?
Listen, it's prime time. It's Thanksgiving. America's watching. No telling where you're at on the pandemic, but people are probably going to be traveling. All right, I expect this house to be packed by this time. If everything's cleared and pandemic's gone away, people are going to be eating some Thanksgiving, missing their family by this time. They're going to get together. All eyes will be on the Cowboys, the Lions, and whoever else plays on Thanksgiving Day. But right here, they took care of them once. They'll take care of them again. Not only do I get a full stomach, but I get Redskins for dessert, Joe.
Yeah. This is going to be a fun game here. Thanksgiving, you want to see them play an NFC East rival. I love it. You get shades of the past. We're talking about Cowboys versus Redskins from the 80s. Those rivalries were top notch back then. And here we are again. The second time we play these guys during the year. And I'm with you. We sweep them. Thanksgiving Day, we're making a statement here. Taking us to 11-0 on the week, Mike. 11-0. All right.
Beautiful thing.
Now, we get to week 13. We're on the road. Thursday night football in prime time. We're on the road at the Baltimore Ravens. What's your gut take here on this game here, Mike?
Gut take. I like how you worded that. Gut take, right? Cowboys just played 2 games in a 4-day span. Then they're going to play a team like the Ravens, who was up there when it comes. They're 4th overall in defense, right? Where are the Cowboys' bodies going to be? What is the injuries looking like? This is their last game of their stretch, right? Before they get another big break, a mini bye, so to speak. Where is the Cowboys at physically and mentally? This is the last of it. 3 games, 10 days. Prime time. Will they crumble? Will they fold, Joe? It all depends on the mindset of this football team. The Vikings game is going to be physical. The Redskins game should be, I'm going to kick your butt. But where are they going to be after that Redskins game, Joe? This one's hard to say. Just because the Ravens are good. The Harbaugh family, they know football. He's won a Super Bowl. And Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, guys. Don't let me lose you now. This one's going to be tough because my gut is telling me they're going to be sore and they might be mentally weak after that 3-game stretch.
Okay, Mike. So what is your prediction here? Is that a win or a loss?
My team never loses, Joe. I'm playing the homer card right now in this game.
Okay, so for me, I'm going to say that we're going to go on the road here, and this is going to be a litmus test. We're talking about a well-rounded organization, top to bottom. They had another outstanding draft. And Lamar Jackson's going to want to be having this team in prime position to win that division. And it's a tough place to play. Okay. And, Cowboys, I definitely have the potential to win this game. But ultimately, I think we see the Cowboys' first loss here. So a potential loss. This is just a projection. I could see the Cowboys winning this, but it's hard for me to say the Cowboys go 16-0. So, from my point of view, Thursday night football on the road, Baltimore. I think we sustain our first loss of the season, dropping us to 11-1 on the season, Mike.
Can I touch on that?
Of course.
I agree, man, and I didn't want to say it, but it's a playoff caliber team. We got to take it at face value. Dallas Cowboys are 8-8. Yeah, a couple of games they could have been, double-digit wins, but they weren't. And this is going to be the true test. This right here is you want to learn from your mistakes. And if the Cowboys so happen to lose this one, you got a lot of film, 60 minutes of film to go back and look at the playoff teams we're going to be facing in the NFC. Watch this game, learn from the mistakes, a high-powered offense with Lamar Jackson and company, and fix them and get right. Because at this time, you already look at the Eagles ain't going to be nowhere near 11 games. Nowhere near it. You got comfortability in your NFC East. If they drop the ball on this one, it's okay, because this is a great learning game. Because what do the Cowboys have? The easiest game in the NFC, the easiest schedule in the NFC. This is their true test in Week 13. So it's okay, guys. They'll get it right next week.
Yeah, so in the following week, Week 14, the Cowboys are on the road again. And this time, we're in the jungle. Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. We're coming to town. What's your gut take here on this game here? Week 14, Mike.
I'm not buying the hype of the first overall pick unless your name's Troy Aikman, bud. You got to prove to me that you could be a Troy Aikman. 3 Super Bowls. And, they got a good running game. Mixon, I think he has like 500 carries and 0 fumbles. That's incredible numbers. That's unheard of number. He's the first player at the running back position to ever do that over there with Joe Mixon. So, we're going to see where Burrow's at. Is he learning how to read defenses? Can he audible? What's his learning at a National Football League level? Andy Dalton's going to want to probably come in, take a couple of snaps. I don't blame him. But I think the Cowboys, they get back on the winning streak, Joe. Seriously. You look at the stats here. They were 29th in defense. That you don't fix that overnight. And I don't see why the Cowboys can't go in over there in Cincinnati and go get a win.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game to see where the Bengals are at by this time of the year. Obviously they were the number one team in the draft. They got Burrow. I feel that they will be improved, but nothing significant. This is, I think, year one with Burrow. We're probably looking at a 6-10, 7-9 type of team at best. So, they drafted T. Higgins to give him another weapon. You got A.J. Green. Can he stay healthy? He's kind of got that injury-prone tag now, getting up there in age as well. Mixon, I think that defensive line, they didn't really address it that well. The middle used to be the strength of that defense. It's gotten old and that kind of thing. Linebackers, not all that. Cornerbacks, not all that good. So they still have a lot of work to do over there to rebuild that team. But I think they're going in the right direction. Cowboys take this game here. It could be a big shellacking of the Bengals. And it sure would be nice to see if you can sit Dak Prescott there, rest him up, and let Dalton get in some reps. That'd be nice. So 13-1. I think that's where we're at, right?
Right.
All right. So there we go with that one there with the Bengals. The following week, Mike, week 15, we are hosting the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. All right. What's your gut take on this game here in December?
Yes, sir. We got us losing to the Ravens, right? And Stephen A. Smith, all these big media talking heads, what are they going to say? the Dallas Cowboys can't beat playoff caliber teams. You're going to hear it. And you're going to hear it a lot if we drop the ball on the Ravens. Dallas Cowboys, like I said, are going to learn from those mistakes. I'm not scared of the Super Bowl chumps. You know, they went to the Super Bowl and they lost it. They're chumps, all right? And the Dallas Cowboys, to quiet, because it's going to happen, guys. They lost to the Ravens. They can't beat playoff teams. You go in there, they come to us. First of all, it's going to be filled with Cowboy fans. None of this 49er crap week 1 a couple of years ago. It's going to be filled up in there. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this football game. They're going to put the Super Bowl chumps down, Joe, at home.
Okay. All right, Mike. So for Sunday Night Football, we're hosting the 49ers. I like your points there. I do see that this will be another problematic game for the Cowboys. I think for me, it'll show that possibly they're not quite there yet. But, you know, I could easily see this being a win, like you said there. But for me, I feel that the 49ers are still a little bit more of a stacked team on both sides of the ball. And I have them winning this game in our house. Sunday Night Football, dropping us to the record of 13-2. That's where I have them after this game, Mike. So you still have them at what, 13-1 at this point?
14-1, ain't it?
14-1, yeah. So Mike's got them at 14-1. I have us losing this game, dropping us to 13-2. Is that right?
No, something's wrong here. So I only got them on one loss. We're week 15, so it's 14-1 for me. 14. No, because the bye week don't count.
Yeah, so there we are. So I have us with 2 losses through the year here so far. All right. Going into week 16, we host the Philadelphia Eagles, Mike. 3:25, week 16. The Philadelphia Eagles come to town. What's your gut feeling on this game here?
Where are the Eagles at? You know, I've been downplaying the Eagles in this whole schedule. You know, because they're the real competition, so to speak. You know, behind the Cowboys, and you know, you touched on their draft, but I mean, Cowboys, they're probably already first place seed in the NFC. Are they resting players? Is Dak only playing a half here? You know, I'm predicting Dak only plays a half. Andy Dalton comes in. The Eagles win it by a last-second field goal because all the starters are sitting on the bench and only played a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have the Eagles losing here, right?
Of course.
All right. So for me, week 16, the Eagles come to town. I think, like I said earlier, the program is on the downturn. I'm not buying that they're going to improve. I already see it. I saw it at the end of you can tell when a team is not buying into a system anymore. They're going to be calling for Carson Wentz's head by this time, probably. There's going to be upheaval as far as maybe you see Jalen Hurts play a couple of games, doesn't look good. The draft pick they had, you know, maybe doesn't play up to par. And they're not able to stop our wide receivers. Okay, so I have us sweeping them here, and we're going to go, for me, we're going 12-2 here. Or that'll put us at, for me, it will be 13-2 after this game here.
Nice.
In the final game of the year, Mike, we're on the road at the New York Giants. 12 o'clock Central Time kickoff on the road to close the season at the Giants. What's your gut take on the final game here, Mike?
End of the game. If Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott lights it up in Week 17. He threw like 18,000 touchdowns against the Redskins Week 17. I don't see why he can't do that again. I got the Dallas Cowboys going 15-1, Joe. Going in with the number 1 overall seed in the NFC.
Okay. So where I have this as well, on the road against the New York Giants, my thing is, do the Cowboys need to win this game? Is this home field implications? You know, if I have the Cowboys at 13-2, you have them at winning
15-1.
15-1. So, will they rest anybody, and will they give up a loss? Is that a possibility, Mike?
No, not at all. We got Andy Dalton back there, bud.
Okay, so even if you put in Dalton, we should be able to come out with the victory. I agree with that. And I have them winning this game as well. You know, and putting it, my final record is going to be 14-2. Mike has us at 15-1. I think even with a 14-2 record, I think the Cowboys have at least one of the bye weeks locked up. You know, 14-2.
Absolutely. I don't see why they couldn't or why they wouldn't, Joe. It's a new era, baby. It's a new era. I'm pumped up.
Mike has them at 15-1. It is possible. It is very possible. Nothing is out of the realm. We broke down each game. And we did break down where some of the hot spots might be. You know, we're talking about a possible, that game with the Seahawks. I think that'll be a very competitive game. The Pittsburgh game, I think that'll be very competitive. The Vikings game, I think that'll be competitive, but 2 weeks preparation. It's not like we're having Garrett where you're not prepared. McCarthy will be prepared. 2 weeks. I like that game as well. The Baltimore game, litmus test all the way. That'll be a good one. And even I had them losing this game. By no means do I think it'll be even a blowout. I think this will be one of those crazy, heavyweight throwing, punch for punch until the very last, snap of the game. I think this will be one hell of a game. I think it'll be that. I don't think it'll be, that we come out there and we get beat up and blown out or anything.
What game are you talking about?
The Ravens game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be a good game there. The other hotspot game for me, obviously, was the 49ers game. Litmus test, another one there. And I think we might see them again. We might be seeing these guys again in the playoffs. So good to get. I'm always one that likes to go into the playoffs with some momentum. If you do take a loss there with the 49ers or with the Ravens, I think it kind of humbles you down a little bit. You don't want to win too many dang games in a row. I know that kind of sounds kind of weird, but I feel that something that the Cowboys really struggled with Garrett was they would, on rare occasions when they did have, like these good seasons under Garrett, that they didn't handle success well. They would one and done in the playoffs. You would get the bye week. You get blown out. You would lose. You would choke it up. That's one thing that I feel that McCarthy will be able to handle success well, and I think he'll be able to handle loss as well. So something that we're really going to see a big difference here, and that's why I think you and I have the Cowboys with such a great record. We're not as shell-shocked as a lot of other fans are. And, some fans might be like, man, this is not realistic. There's no way we're just going to, lose 1 or 2 games. But you got to look at this roster, and you got to look at the coaching staff that's been assembled here, a coach with winning pedigree that can take this talent to the next level. That's what I feel, Mike. What's your gut feeling on if somebody tells you, man, no way they're just losing? What do you say to that person out there, Mike?
Hey, I first, number one, I respect your opinion, but let me explain myself here. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first 4 games, or technically the first 3 games, those are all tests. And honestly, Cowboys were 8-8 and they were able to beat the Rams. Just because they're opening up the season doesn't mean that they're going to lose to the Rams. The Rams lost key pieces on their football team, offense and on defense. And so you look at that, that's a winnable game. The Falcons, that's a winnable game. Let's be real. Matty Ice is super consistent. Almost reminds me of Eli Manning minus the 2 rings, right? The other test. This is where you want your team to step up and win. There's no moral victories in the National Football League. The Seattle Seahawks game, going to the 12 minute, assuming that it's going to be a packed house. You want your team to go in there and go make a statement win. That's what you want. You don't wake up on Sunday and says, I'm not going to watch the game because the Cowboys are going to lose. You wake up, you cook whatever you want to cook. You put on your gear and you go to war while you're sitting down on your TV with your team. That's the game right there. That's the true test. Week 3, that's the true test. You want to go win, right? Then look at the stretch here. The Browns, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Redskins, the Eagles. Come on. Those are all winnable games. Any given Sunday, I get it. Under Jason Garrett, it's probably magnified. Mm-hmm. Under Mike McCarthy, no. He has a winning mentality. Guy has a Super Bowl ring. You respect that. Oh, Chris Richard had a Super Bowl ring too, and we respect it, and look what happened. Chris Richard's not on this football team. Hate to tell you guys. Then you got another true test with the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, where's his health at? You talked about the wide receiver they got and Juju Schuster and all that stuff. Then you got the Vikings, 2 tests back to back. Again, you don't wake up on Sunday and say, we're going to lose, I ain't watching the game. Those are winnable football games. One at home, one on the road, Joe. And then, we gave an L to the Ravens. That's real. I mean, you want to talk about realistic. That could likely happen. Playoff team, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Yeah, they choked or whatever they did. But the Cowboys, let me tell you, they've never won in Baltimore. Never. So what are the odds stacked up against that? And then the 49ers, the NFC opponent. This could be the NFC conference game that the Cowboys haven't been to in 26 years. You set the momentum. When that game comes, who's physical? Who's going to be more physical? The 49ers will be like, man, I got to bring my game because they just knocked the crap out of me. And the Cowboys like, we just knocked the crap out of them. Now we got to go even harder. Cowboys going to win that game, right? And then the Eagles and Giants. Come on. Yeah. It's 15-1 is legit.
Yeah, that's where it is, and the thing about it, and this, it's been such a long time, and I know, we still have to see how this team looks under McCarthy, but the feeling to be able to go into a game and walk into that, you wake up that morning, Sunday, and you're like, okay, we're gonna win this game. Just how big of a blowout is this going to be? How are we going to bludgeon this team? How are we going to beat them? Is it going to be our defense? Is it going to be our offense? And I feel like that's where the Cowboys are at under McCarthy. It's almost like that feeling that you had, whether it was at the peak of, Bill Parcells' era or even further back with Jimmy Johnson, when you had the confidence of as a fan, to have that confidence and you look at the schedule and be like, okay, we're going to win this, we're going to win. And that's how Patriots fans are. I guarantee you that up until, maybe they may not feel that now with Brady gone, but I guarantee you when they had Brady, they would look at the schedule and look at this and be like, okay, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, and they would do it. The fans had that confidence, and it came from the coaching staff. And I feel that McCarthy has that potential to give that fans, that feeling again. It's been a long time since we've had that feeling that we're going to dominate teams week in and week out. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Absolutely. And you go back to the Jason Garrett era. You look at his NFL record. It's a horrible loss season and a winning season. And that just rotates right in front of each other.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know how to handle success. He played well during easy schedules. But that's why we were 1 and done in the playoffs under Jason Garrett. This is an easy schedule. But guess what? We got a winning coach to go into these playoffs. He kicked our butts at AT&T Stadium. He knows how to shut a crowd up wherever we got to play. He has success in our home turf, and he will continue to have success in the playoffs on our home turf.
That's what it is. That's what it is, Mike. I think we did a good job breaking this down, and this is really how I feel about it. Whether we revisit this later on as we get through training camp or the preseason, but this is just an early projection, everybody. And we're putting it out there as, potential wins and losses. So we'll see what happens. But I think we did a really good breakdown, Mike. It was a lot of fun breaking down the potential win-losses and the new season here under Mike McCarthy, Mike. Do appreciate that very much, Mike. Before we leave, let everybody know where they can find you, Mike.
Dallas Cowboy Football News on YouTube and on Facebook. DCF News 1 on Twitter, guys. Give me a follow. Give me a DM. I'll follow you back. Give me a mention. That's where the conversation starts, guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad I'm back. It feels like I've been gone a month, Joe. Thank you for having me back and talking the NFL schedule.
That's what it is, everybody. That's what it is. And for myself, you can find me on YouTube as well, guys. And that's Cowboys Blog. Just hit me up on YouTube. Cowboys Blog Net on Twitter and Instagram. Hit me a follow. Follow you back, and we can have a conversation as well. Make sure you follow the Frisco Report's Twitter, and that's at The Frisco Report. All right. And if you want to visit the website, we have one as well. www.thefriscoreport.com. There we have merch. We have the Cowboys' latest schedule. If you want to look at the Cowboys draft history, we have that there. We have all the draft classes going back to 2003 when I started this whole thing. And I have links that go directly to Mike's YouTube page and mine as well. So make sure you hit up thefriscoreport.com for everything related to the Cowboys and the podcast. All right, guys? So make sure you hit us up on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, and Spotify. Just to name a few. Hit us up. Give us a 5-star review if you can. Give us a subscription. And we really do appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you for the next podcast. Peace, everybody.
Peace.